What's up, you guys? It seems that TikTok and Instagram are a free-for-all nowadays. You can, shove a shit ton of food down your gob. You can show yourself half-dressed or fully undressed and you'll be okay. You won't get restricted or blocked. But when you try to upload educational content and you maybe, I don't know, breach a certain rule, tiny little thing, or do something very tiny, do something wrong, you will get blocked and restricted. Anyways, rant over. But TikTok and Instagram shorts are crazy. Okay, the things that people are allowed to post, and it seems like now it's part of our culture. It's like normal, especially remember when mukbanging videos were a thing. And I think, people still watch those, but they were back in the day. They were big back in the day. So today I want to address this whole body positivity, people eating a lot of food and not really worrying about their health and saying, I'm happy and healthy and I can, be in this body, this is how I present and you've got to accept me. And that's fine, but we have to think about the consequences, all right? And I'm not preaching here. I'm not saying this is what these people should do, but at some point it will catch up with them. Okay, so right, firstly let's go on to this video, which is obviously rage bait. Okay, let me just refresh TikTok because
this is what I'm eating for lunch. It's just a little chocolate cake.
Yeah,
This
is what I eat for lunch is just a little chocolate cake, and obviously you're gonna, when you see that, okay, you're gonna stop by and you're gonna keep watching because you're seeing a person who's obviously bigger and you're seeing them with a massive cake. So obviously you are curious what is going to happen. You know exactly what's going to happen, but the whole sensory appeal of this whole experience, it makes you stay. It makes you stay and watch. So these are the comments that people are saying. This is disgusting, but thanks for the motivation. And like I've mentioned in my previous video, a lot of people watch these videos because they make them feel better about themselves. It's also another thing is, sensory appeal. And then somebody also commented on my previous video that she watches these videos because it reminds her that she doesn't want to be like that, and that's great. Everybody uses different things to motivate themselves, but aside from that, do we really need to watch videos like this to kind of understand that we shouldn't become like this, that we shouldn't be overweight, that we shouldn't be having such eating habits? I don't think so. I think that is common sense, but I guess in today's world it is much harder to perhaps avoid unhealthy foods and have good habits. So I get that, but your health should be coming from you, from deep within, but whatever helps you get there. I love how everyone is commenting things to try and offend her, but that's her plan for everyone's engagement. She's making the bag. Let's go haters, make her money. Yeah, exactly. This is exactly what this whole thing is about. It's about making money. It's about, she's going to make money through views, affiliates, sponsorships, etc. People do it for views and for money. Some people do it for one or the other, but most people do it for both. Somebody commented, you are someone's daughter as a mum. This would absolutely crush me. Yes. You think to yourself, this could be your daughter potentially. And us watching this, although it may make you feel better, it doesn't make the world any better because these things are getting views. So, us watching this is not conducive to anything. So let's go ahead and back to this one. And again, this is another
This is what I'm eating for lunch.
crazy video. This is what I'm eating for lunch.
It's just a few Krispy Kreme glazed donuts.
It's just a few Krispy Kreme glazed donuts, You think, okay, she's just going to have 2 or something. But she's sitting with a whole tray of 12 donuts. Let's see what happens.
Guys, we're probably only going to have a couple of bites, okay? Because I don't want to overdo it today. First bite.
Yeah, well, obviously rage bait, right? This is what this whole thing is about, rage bait. There's a reason why we have a name for it, right? yeah, I'm only going to have, a few bites. And it reminds me of that 3-bite diet or something like that, where this diet claimed that you can have 3 bites of anything and lose weight. But that's a very subjective, non-standardized diet. Like, okay, so I can have 3 massive bites, 3 tiny bites. What does that look like? It's going to look different to everybody. And if she listened to this diet, obviously she would struggle to lose weight. I mean, anybody would struggle to lose weight. Okay, just 1,140 calories, by the way. Somebody said, I thought this was 5 to 6K. And you see, people often overestimate or underestimate how many calories are in things, and that is one of the reasons why people struggle to lose weight a lot of the time, is because they are miscalculating their calories. It takes time to understand how many calories are in things, and it takes time to understand how the apps work, how to track things properly. So it's not so easy, but once you understand it, it's straightforward. But it just shows that people do struggle with this kind of thing. And she just sits there and eats those donuts. I don't know, somebody commented, I remember reading, don't pause the video, you have been spitting them out with each pause. See, people, there's something pleasing, this does something for people. People want to see the full thing, and if you don't show them the full thing, they suspect, oh my gosh, this person is spitting out, like, I want to see them eat this whole thing. Like, people will criticize everything, and it's a sad world we're living in, but unfortunately, some people enjoy this type of content and they want to see it all. I love these kind of videos because it makes me feel grossed out and eat better. Yeah, this is what we've been talking about. It makes people feel better about themselves, and my dog is chewing on something, and that's okay. But really, you are contributing to a much bigger problem, because there's young people out there who think, right, when I grow up, I'm going to be a mukbanger, or when I grow up, I'm going to post videos of myself eating, and as you can see, her whole channel is just videos of her eating food, sloppy, filthy, fatty, greasy food, and all of those have massive views when it's something that's not as outrageous and not greasy, not appealing to the eyes. Something like, something in a box, something in a bag. It's, she doesn't get as many views. So that is quite interesting, isn't it? So this whole, body positivity movement, I mean, I don't know if she's a body positive person. I'm assuming, she's obviously, from the looks of this profile, she's, I like to eat, I like to cook, she's not looking to lose weight. She's probably accepted that this is how I am, this is how I'm going to spend my life. And that's quite sad, because she isn't going to live long, most likely, if she continues like this, if she started to work on her eating habits. But the problem is, she is incentivized to keep doing this because of the views that she's getting, and she's probably now possibly been able to quit her job and do this full time. And, that's heaven for some people. That is heaven. So, but deep inside, she is probably feeling stuck in her life, and that's very sad, because this person, is probably struggling deep inside, but there's people on the internet using it for their own motivation, commenting nasty things, but at the same time, she's putting herself out there, so it's hard to, justify either of those things. But going back to something else now, because this whole body positivity movement is great. However, it did become a little bit like feminism, right? So there's always, when a movement starts, it always, at some point, obviously it evolves, right? But at some point there's going to be this this side of it, this very extreme end of it, yeah? So there's going to be some people who are going to take it too far. And that's the thing that has happened with feminism as well, as we see, some women are crazy feminists, right? And they hate men and all of that, right? So, and that's not what feminism was about, okay? And it's the same thing with this whole body positivity movement. Body positivity movement is about accepting yourself, but loving yourself enough to still keep working on yourself, right? If you're unhealthy, you've got to obviously put in the work to make sure that you are healthy if you want to live a long, happy life, okay? And if you actually want to, say, if you want to enjoy your own life, okay? Because let's be honest, when you are overweight, life isn't as enjoyable. I'm not saying that you have to have a flat stomach, have abs, have muscles showing. No, it's about being a healthy weight and being able to do, climb up the stairs without going out of breath. That's more important than having visible abs, okay? And this post is from 2023. It's from this girl that I don't really know, but somehow I stumbled upon her very old post. And this is what she talks about. I love my body. Doesn't mean I can't want to work on it at the same time. Self-acceptance, body neutrality has been so important on this journey in recovery. Although I want to get healthier, I love my body as it is right now. And that's very important, especially if you want to lose weight, if you want to become healthier, you have to accept that this is where you are right now. You love yourself, and because you love yourself, you're gonna change, okay? You're gonna make better choices, you're gonna eat better, okay? And from this post I thought, oh my goodness, like, this is amazing. Let's see where she is at now. And it was just pure curiosity. Okay, so then I went to her profile and it says plus size fashion lifestyle. That's all great, okay? But it already puts her in a box where, she has labeled herself as plus size. And, to me, obviously, she is overweight. And, not just to me, but objectively, she is overweight. And so losing a bit of weight would benefit her, would make her healthier. But because she has put herself in that box of being a plus size fashion model, or whatever she wants to call herself, but she's in that space, she obviously feels like she has to stay stuck in the habits that she is in now. So the one good thing about her is that she's not doing all of that mukbanging content. There's still some food content on here, but a lot of it is body positive stuff, okay? And it's just so confusing because in that post, the previous post, she said, it shouldn't, being accepting of your own body shouldn't stop you from wanting to work on it. And that was an amazing post because it is so true, and I thought, okay, that was back in 2023, so I'm assuming that she has changed quite a lot now, but I don't know exactly what she's going through. People go through things, everybody's life is different, but in my opinion, she has stayed stuck because she has put herself in that box. And also, from looking at her video, obviously her partner is quite overweight as well. And so sometimes, most times, when your partner is overweight, it's much harder to become healthy because it requires both people to want to do that, because your partner will sometimes sabotage you even without knowing it, unknowingly, okay? So this is not me judging them, this is me just assessing the situation, what is going on. And I'm happy for her that she has accepted her own body, she has accepted the body that she's in. But in that previous post she was saying that it doesn't stop her from working on herself. So I just wonder what is stopping her from working on herself right now. Is it the fact that she is boxed into that category of plus size fashion and she's scared? Because I truly believe if she started working on herself and she actually started getting healthier, she would actually get a lot more followers and people would definitely root for her. So I'm just curious, obviously there's a lot more to people than meets the eye. People struggle with a lot of different things, so I don't want to judge. But yeah, I'm all for body positivity, okay? One last clip I want to watch is of this girl, this one here. Love this song. And why am I, so the words, why am I obsessing over the things that I can't control, and perhaps she's talking about, what people think of her, other people's opinions of her. she's probably talking about that. But sometimes I don't know, maybe she's talking about the fact that, you know, I mean, look at her. She's not, maybe she's slightly on the bigger side. She's beautiful. She could probably, you know, change some of her eating habits, but I mean, she looks like, you know, an average good looking woman. Okay, she could probably do a bit of strength training. I don't know if she already does, but you know, she is in a slightly bigger body, and she's accepted that. Okay, like, she looks sexy to me, she looks great. Okay, if she wanted to lose a little bit of weight, obviously there would be things that she would have to change, but if she's happy with where she is, then that's fine. Okay, who am I to tell you how you should live your life? Okay, again, it's all about health. It's not about how you look, but it's to a certain point, it's to a certain extent, it's to a certain extent, some extent, you know. You have to understand that at some point the way you look does determine whether you're healthy or not. In this case, you know, she does look healthy, all right, okay. But I don't know, again, somebody who's skinny can have health issues. And, you know, why am I going back to the line, why am I obsessing over things that I can't control? Sometimes people feel that weight is something they can't control. They are overweight because it's not something that's in their control. And that's just simply not true. That is not the case. And saying things like this doesn't help people, but I do believe that she's talking about people's opinions here, but just understand that your weight isn't something you can't control. So, you know, just going over her content, I mean, it looks like she has actually lost a bit of weight, you know, and she's, you know, your average, you know, I'm not saying average in a derogatory way. She's just, you know, a normal looking woman who's not muscular, who's not got, you know, abs, etc. But she's, you know, she's just a regular woman. She probably doesn't strength train. She probably does mostly cardio, you know, and if she strength trained a little bit and maybe fixed up some of her eating habits, her body would change, you know, that's for sure. But maybe that's not what she wants, okay, so that's fine. But yeah, just wanted to touch on that point, you know, when it comes to body positivity, because oftentimes people in the body positivity space will say, oh yeah, it's not something that I can control. I've always struggled with my weight. I can't control it. And that's just not true, okay? You feel like you can't control it because you have never been taught how to. And, you know, there's ways to do it, and it just takes time. So I'm just curious, what do you think about this whole body positivity, this whole, you know, eating on camera stuff that we're seeing now? I mean, it's been going on for a long time, but I'm interesting to see what you think about all of that stuff. Do you think that people can be healthy and happy at any size, or do you think that there's a point at which, yeah, being too big becomes an issue? For now, that's it. Thanks for tuning in, and I shall see you in the next video.